Well, thanks everyone. We're going to be speaking about our company proposal for Sunloungers, built and manufactured in Malaysia and then shipped to Australia. I'd like to introduce myself, Nathan, Tiffany and Mel to take you through this presentation. We are going to go over some key points, a little bit about our company, our business model and strategy behind that, a little bit more about our product and what it offers, and a little bit more information about our distribution network and some different comparisons with that. And finally, offer a recommendation for our company feasibility. On to Mel.
Thank you, Nathan. We are a wholesaler importing Sunloungers from Malaysia to Australia. We have chosen a business model with our target markets being hospitality and also retail, so supplying to hotels and resorts and then to furniture stores. Our goals include becoming a leading wholesaler in Australia and to tread as lightly as possible on the environment. Inspiration has been drawn from things such as Australia's love for travel and spending time with family and friends outdoors. Next slide, please. Our product is an outdoor sun lounger which has been designed to suit the harsh Australian conditions. It comes in 2 colours, black and white, with an optional cushion overlay in 3 colours. We're proud that our sun lounger is sourced and manufactured using single-use plastics, one of the largest polluters in the world, to create a recycled and durable product. This gives our customers the opportunity to be part of the solution, caring for our planet. After some research, we believe our product is feasible based on a few things, including improved sentiment towards travel, the surge in home pool building, and the findings from the MAD group seeing a distinct upward trend in buyers seeking outdoor furniture. Also, the Malaysia Free Trade Agreement is in place with benefits such as no tariffs on the imports of plastic products. And I'm going to hand to Nathan to talk about product packaging.
Thanks so much, Mel. And so when we're talking about our sun lounger, we wanted to ensure that our packaging dimensions really work to allow the product to be shipped to our customer and be easily reassembled. Our product dimensions are on screen, and we've been able to reduce that a little bit to ensure that our packaging dimensions only require, really only 81 centimeters at the longest length of the product. Quite a low weight as well, with a deck chair in mind being only 17 kilograms. And with those cushion overlays as well, we've designed a separate box, which does work in conjunction with that sun lounger box to ensure that vacuum sealed cushions can ensure that upwards of 20 items can be packaged within a box. The sun lounger box is kept secure with foam inserts and is filled to a point that it allows to be stackable without the need for pallets to ensure lean utilization of our containers or whatever trucks might be requiring the packaging. And I just wanted to hand back to Mel to talk a little bit more about our business strategy.
Okay. The way we add value to our product. Am I on the right slide? Okay, the way we add value to our product. 1, it's not another throwaway item with negative implications on the environment. And 2, we exceed our customers' expectations through the service that we provide. 3, we aim to build a reputation as a company that can be trusted. And 4, great lead times of 5 to 7 days from our warehouse to our consumer. We've chosen to go with a differentiation focus strategy. Our competitive advantage is offering a durable and unique product in the marketplace. We are offering a premium product that promotes sustainability for the consumer without the price tag. We are also focused in that we serve a specialized segment, being the hospitality and retail industries. And then our business goals and strategies on the next slide. In our first year, we plan to rent a smaller, cheaper warehouse versus a larger investment such as purchasing a warehouse. We've also limited our offerings to just the one product with a limited number of cushion colours. We plan to spend more money on marketing during this startup phase, helping us establish our presence and reputation within the marketplace. In the first year, our plan is 350 sun loungers per quarter turnover. and then to increase that to 500 in our 2 to 5 year plan, and then to 750 in our 10-year plan. 2 to 5 year plans include reducing our marketing budget and putting that money or more budget towards expanding our products, renting a bigger warehouse to hold larger volumes of Sunloungers, and also the additional products now being offered, and achieving another 2 to 3 distribution agreements. We'll also introduce our reverse logistics option for hotels and resorts to update their furniture designs every few years. At the 10-year mark, we hope to provide a Bachelor of Business scholarship to a student from a disadvantaged background. We also plan on purchasing our own warehouse space and creating a second line of income from renting out some of that warehouse space. And now hand back to Nathan.
Thanks very much, Mel. And to talk a little bit more about our distribution network, as Mel's just gone over, our main intent is to sell these onto hotels and resorts as a direct consumer, but also to furniture stores, homeware stores, things like Amart or Bunnings. They act as an aggregator for our sales to the consumer. The main distribution for our product will start off with the raw materials being sourced by the supplier, and these are again recycled plastics, which are then onwards manufactured by our manufacturer, and then our distribution network will then allow them to come through to Australia and then onwards to our retailers. We have chosen to use middle-tier distributors within Australia. We're going to focus on using a company called ShipIt, since they allow us to use some of the big name companies like StarTrack and Toll at only a service fee of $49 per month, which allows 250 orders per month, and we also receive a discount on that as well. The reason behind this is we want to avoid any disruptions that cheaper companies through inland transportation might offer us. And for our distribution and main offices, we're choosing to lease this to ensure appropriate control of stock while still reducing the costs involved. And where else better to sell our Sunloungers than the sunny city of Brisbane? We've chosen a warehouse in Eagle Farm at only $3,162 per quarter. It includes roller doors and easy access for trucks. And it is obviously very well situated on the eastern seaboard, close to 78% of Australia's population, and is at close proximity as well to various logistics networks for that area of Australia. The space as well is quite large at 255 square meters, and the ceilings are quite high as well. So it gives us the opportunity to have shelving and also for future reverse logistics options, as Mel has taken us through with hotels and resorts that might want to update and return back their property as well, their products to us. And to hand over to our first proposal for logistics network, onto Tiffany.
Our plan has 3 legs. It'll be ocean, road, and road. Our cargo choice will be a full container load consisting of 360 Sunloungers and 18 boxes of cushions, reaching a 90% capacity of the container, meaning 1 container per quarter is needed to be able to meet the desired turnover. Given the amount of time we know it will take for the product to be ready to ship, our booking for our ocean freight will be pre-organized to prevent unnecessary delays. For our ocean leg, our product will be ready for shipment after 5 days from the time in which the order is placed. It will go then from the manufacturer to Port Kelang, where it will then go through the Straits of Macau all the way through to the Port of Brisbane. The time frame for our ocean freight will be approximately 20 to 21 days, including moving through customs. The first part of our road leg will be what occurs after we arrive in the Port of Brisbane. The container will be placed on a truck and transported to the Eagle Farm warehouse. As Nathan identified, we've chosen Eagle Farm because of its proximity and optimization of our desired network. It's within 10 kilometres of airports, highways, and distribution centres such as Toll. It decreases travel time between our distribution points and provides more efficiencies given most of our consumers are located within the eastern seaboard of Australia. Once it's arrived at Eagle Farm, it can be distributed within the warehouse accordingly. The third leg of our tour is the distribution to the consumer. We're going to use ShipIt in order to be able to use different suppliers based off the product order size and go shippingly. It will arrive to the consumer within 2 to 6 business days, taking into consideration that Western Australia is the longest distance from our desired point of call. We could have chosen air as our third leg. However, road provides more efficiencies as it's not hindered by inclement weather. And provides a larger supply chain base. The lead time from order placement to consumer is conservatively 32 days. Next slide, please. As demonstrated by the chart, there are several risks associated with this, but the risks that have the highest impact and consequences are as follows. Delays in Malaysia due to weather and the amount of traffic in the Strait of Malacca. Weather conditions are unpredictable in Malaysia. There are seasonal times of the year where shipment could be impossible. There are times where vessels are forced to wait for access within the Strait of Malacca due to the sheer volume of traffic through it each day of the week. This can be mitigated by ensuring that there is knowledge of weather conditions over the period, understanding shipping delays from the previous quarter, and considerations are made if there is continual poor periods noted during that time, where it flags the possibility of an additional cargo load. And we always must ensure that the supply chain remains robust. This is a continual problem for our business structure. However, it is short term as we ourselves adjust and create plans and processes to compensate accordingly. Another risk is the unexpected increase of sales. As we're shipping only one container load per quarter, we open ourselves up to insufficient stock levels if we were to pick up another major client or experience a higher than expected order volume. We can mitigate this by ensuring that we have a good understanding of our sales volume and do market research to ensure that trends and potential sales growth are noted. Have an open and transparent relationship with the consumer so there is an understanding that unexpected volumes could trigger delays in supply. We've classified this as a long-term risk as our business strategy will be ever evolving and seeking expansion. And the last risk associated with this will be poor inventory management. A lack of management in supply could prevent us having enough stock, lost stock, or too much stock of one item that doesn't sell and not enough supply of another. This could be mitigated by ensuring that we understand what color is more favorable to the consumer and order accordingly to prevent an overstock of one color and limited supply of another. We should always ensure that we're doing a monthly stock take, and all sales and pre-orders should be considered as stock and attach itself to our stock levels so we can act accordingly. And there should always be a cutoff of stock that triggers a reorder and have backup stock in the case. We've classified this as a long-term risk for our business, as inventory is our cash flow. Our own unpreparedness and lack of processes and control will be our undoing, especially as we seek to expand. I'm going to hand over to Nathan to talk about finance.
Thanks very much, Tiffany. We took a lot of care in organising the costs for the option of shipping it to Australia. Some key points to take into consideration here is that our main leg for the ocean transportation, the largest distance of this network, is only a small proportion of our inland transportation within Australia. And as Tiffany mentioned, that is the longest stretch, that is calculated off the longest stretch all the way to Perth. It is important to note as well that we are maintaining a profit margin of 85% with an RSP value of $371. We've taken into consideration as well some of the important warehousing costs required. We need to ensure that we do have a worker within our company headquarters, one part-time employee with wages calculated at around $9,500 per quarter, as well as inclusion of some inventory management software as well, things like SAP. This has ultimately given us a net income of around $25,000 per quarter with a net profit margin of 19.6%. And back on to Tiffany to speak a little bit more about our second option, Plan B.
Thank you. Like with our first plan, we will be utilizing the same base, Eagle Farm, close to airports, arterial, highways, etc. For this plan, we're going to go air, road, and road. For air, as it is smaller shipments, a maximum we can ship in a single trip would be 100 Sunloungers and 100 cushions for a total weight of 1,750 kilos or 7.82 cubes. We can use providers like Main Freight Toll Priority as they have bases in both countries, and it will make a seamless transfer. In order to achieve the turnover of each quarter, we would need to organize 3.5 trips in that quarter, which would be the equivalent of one trip every 3.5 weeks. Our manufacturer's closest airport is 15 kilometers. Once the order is ready, it'll go from our manufacturer to the airport, and it should be there 8 hours before it needs to leave. and the amount of time in the air is 8 hours, and then followed by an approximate 8 hours before it's available for collection once it reaches Brisbane. Our leg 2 is road. Once it's got clearance from customs, it'll go direct to our warehouse, and a smaller vehicle will be required because the volume itself is smaller. Again, Main Freight and Toll actually include this in their pricing structure, so it's a location-to-location format for them. Once it makes it to the warehouse, we have distribution within that warehouse. The second leg is similar to Plan A. It'll go for distribution to consumer. Same format, we will use Ship It based off the order size from the consumer itself, and we will use the Ship It platform to be able to maneuver out. It will arrive to the consumer within 2 to 6 business days, again taking into consideration purpose the furthest distance. The timeline for delivery to consumer from raw materials will be approximately 15 business days. Like with Plan A, sorry, can you please go to the slide for the risk? Bad.
No problem.
Like with Plan A, weather is a risk to the business. Our chosen import country has inconsistent weather that impacts air transport more than ocean, but the risk mitigation remains the same in that front. But other risks that have a high probability and consequence are limited volume can be shipped. There are strict guidelines on how much we can transport in a single instance. If our weight and conversions are incorrect, it will delay our shipping as it will not make it onto the plane. We can mitigate this through ensuring our weight and CM3 are checked twice before moving from the warehouse, organize deliveries with purpose rather than just have stock. If we know what we're needing for a period, we order based off it, not simply because we wish to fill our warehouse. We've classified this as short-term risk. As novice in the art of air cargo, we would need to grow and adapt as we continue to use it. Increase in supply chain demand. The sheer volume of export out of Southeast Asia causes bottlenecks within every network, especially within areas the consumers' needs have changed and they want things faster. This creates additional delays leaving the country itself. This can be mitigated by checking the booking updates, having an understanding of the bottlenecks and timelines within the supply chain to enable better decision making. Have a baseline level of stock that triggers a new order, and allowances need to be made for delays. We've classified this as a medium risk to the business as it's believed that the market won't die down, but become more manageable over time. Thus, the headache is for the short term, but will flatline in the long term. And the last risk is global instability causing increase in costs. Consideration for this is how fuel rapidly increased due to supply chain issues. This cost was passed on to the consumer. It's hard to predict and it can be sudden. This can be mitigated by understanding the climate, its impact to the consumer, and ensure that we ourselves have the capacity to make informed decisions. Having a robust supply chain, one supplier will give you no market to negotiate, and it'll create a stagnant supply chain, thus limiting our ability to decrease the cost. We need to understand the market value of the cost and factor in our budget an extra 10% to allow for the rapid increase. We classified this as medium risk, mainly because the global instability where things like fuel and oil are concerned are expected to last longer than the next couple of months, as the globe deals with the repercussions of the last 2 years. I'm going to hand over to Nathan to talk about the landing costs for this.
Thanks, Stephanie. So obviously we've got a much reduced turnaround time for the customer at 15 days, but that taken into consideration when we're looking at the costs for this with air transport, our air transportation is quite significantly higher than what we've seen with shipping it directly to Brisbane. At around $42,000, this eats up quite a lot more than even our inland transportation costs. We are trying to ensure still that we have an 85% margin on top of the landed cost for our unit. But it does, however, bring our RSP up to quite a high number of $573. With our research of other companies offering Sunloungers as an option, we do want to ensure that we have a lower cost for the customer. This does seem to be in line with some of the higher end products, but we want to differentiate ourselves as not having such a high price tag with still such a high quality product. And again, we are still including the same considerations for our warehouse in Brisbane of hiring a part-time worker as well. These calculations have offered us a higher income of $49,083, with a net profit margin of 24.44%. And I'm going to hand over to all of us just to go through our conclusion a little bit. We have chosen Plan A for this company proposal. It is important to recognise that whilst Plan B does offer a higher net profit, as we just saw, it is not sustainable as we aim to preserve our differentiation strategy while still retaining that low cost. The RSP, we want to have below that $400 price tag and still preserve that 85% markup. We want to have room for this in future as we move to our 2 to 5 and 10-year goals. And this is allowable with our Plan A option, as we can just easily hire another 20-foot container at a very similar rate to what we experienced at the start without having to look at any increased costs with air freight with Plan B. As I said as well, it's got low logistics costs and it allows for that scaled increase. And although Plan B's decreased logistics time frame of only 15 days, it will provide shorter delivery times, but we can reduce this with planned stock management at our warehouse space in Eagle Farm to the customer.
Plan A ensures full utilization of warehouse space, providing more control over inventory and easier to manage risks associated with refinements and systems management through the short and long-term goals of our business.
What about the risks? Good system control for mitigating these risks will create a successful business operation for Plan A. If we were to make adjustments in the future, we'd aim to improve those turnaround times. But to achieve that, we would need to ensure that we have the right amount of knowledge. In this particular arena with the logistics, knowledge is the key in order to be able to move forward.
Absolutely. I just wanted to thank everyone for listening in. And from Tiffany, Mel, and myself, thank you very much. See you later.